wonderful day to our amazing listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Easy Podcast. I am your lead host, Jam, and we are broadcasting live with an absolute powerhouse of the show today.
That's right, host Jam. I am your host, Ayet. Let me tell you, if you are a student trying to navigate the chaotic waters of school, personal growth, or preparing for the real world, this is the episode you cannot afford to miss. Today, we are striping away the standards of academic lectures and focusing on the two absolute pillars of adulting that schools rarely teach us: financial capability and emotional intelligence. We like to call this the ultimate survival toolkit. To help us unpack these two major things, we would like to talk about, or we would like to invite our brilliant members of Easy Guest Panel. Say hello to the world, guys. Before we dive into a deep end, let's do a super quick temperature check. Abby, in one word, how would you describe your relationship with your wallet and brain this week?
Oh my god, definitely complicated, but absolutely working on it.
I said overloaded, but I'm actively downloading some updates.
I think complicated and overloaded perfectly capture the student experience. No, host Jam. Let's start untangling this, yo guys. We're dividing today's session in two major acts: smart money and smart hearts. Let's kick things off with one act with financial capability.
Let's face the cold, hard truth. Being a student is expensive. Even if aren't paying rent yet, managing and limited allowance while being constantly bombarded by online shopping apps, food deliveries, and free hangouts is a battlefield.
It really is, Coach Jam. You guys are up first, right? But how about you, Abby? How do we build financial capability when it feels like our money disappeared once it hits our hands?
Well, honestly, it starts with understanding the psychology of spending. Kasi we live in a culture of instant gratification. We see an ads, we click, buy, boom, dopamine spikes. And so I had to learn the difference between a want and a need in a very strict way. And to combat that, I had to implement a rule, and it's a 24-hour rules, wherein I have to force myself to wait up to 24 hours before deciding if I'm going to buy the certain item or not. 9 times out of 10, it really works. No. And I also like to add up na you really need a visual map of your money. Kasi you cannot manage what you can measure. With that said, this is what I tell my friends. I tell my friends na treat your money like a mini business money. So I use the classic 50-30-20. So, the 50-30-20 classic, I use it for a student like us, wherein 50% goes for my daily lunch, school needs, and school necessities. For the 30% naman, I use it for hangouts, gala with friends, and dun na yung mga wants ko lang. And then for 20, I use that for savings. In this way, ang nangyayari, I do not ask myself, where did my money go? Instead, I know now kung paano nga ba nag-work yung money ko.
Yes. So the line, no, telling you yourself where your money go instead of wondering or where it went, that is a golden quote right there, Abby. Thank you so much. But let's bring in Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Let's say we've got the basic budget down. How do we take it into the next level? Or how do we actually build savings and maybe even earn even the little amounts or savings. The biggest mistake students make is saving what is left after spending. If you do that, there will almost never be anything left. You have to practice paying yourself first the second you get your allowance. Immediately take out your 10% or 20% savings and put it somewhere separate, like different digital bank account or a physical piggy bank that is hard to open. Treat that savings portion as an expense that is completely non-negotiable. And this builds an emergency fund so you don't have to borrow money when unexpected school expenses pop up.
That is a reality check. Buy now, pay later. Can be a dangerous trap to our students. Thank you, Ellie. And now, Act 1 summary. Track your spending, pay yourself first, and wait for 24 hours before impulse buying. And stay far away from easy debt traps.
Grabe, partner Jam, parang mas mautak pa sila sa pagsisave kaysa sa atin. Magastos kasi ako. So, actually, looking at this all financial tips, I'm realizing something. A lot of our bad spending habits aren't actually just financial problems or hindi lang dahil may pera, diba? Sometimes it actually involves the emotional ones. So, think about it. Why do we buy that expensive coffee when we can't afford it? Or why do we buy things for our sports? Do we do massive shopping sprees? Or it's just because we're feeling down? Or we want to fit in with a certain crowd or sa mga friends natin, diba? Somehow we called it retail therapy. But for days now in Gen Zs, they called it the stress spending.
Which brings us perfectly to the second half of our toolkit. If we want to master our money, we have to master our minds too. Let's transition into Act 2, Emotional Intelligence and EQ.
So, we're talking now about emotional intelligence. So, syempre sa mga ganyang edad naman natin, we already know that emotional intelligence isn't just a fancy buzzword na parang you use when you have a partner, when you figure out things with the people around you. It's actually the ability to recognize, understand, comprehend, and even manage our own emotions, while also recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. So, how about you, Adriano and Nieto? Let's start with the self-management side of things. How does EQ save a student from crashing under academic stress?
Can you name that emotion? Often we just say, I'm stressed. But beneath that stress is a fear of failure or guilt from procrastinating or fatigue. Once you identify the actual feeling, you can manage it. For example, instead of beating yourself up for feeling anxious about an exam, you acknowledge it. I am feeling anxious because this exam is important to me. And that is a normal reaction. Accepting the emotion actually de-escalates its power over you.
Yes, and managing those emotions what builds true resilience. Resilience isn't about never feeling sad, stressed, or discouraged. It's about how quickly you can bounce back. When you get a failing grades on a project, a low EQ response is I'm stupid. I'll never pass this class. Now, it leads to a give up. A high EQ response is I failed this paper, which is feels terrible. But grade this grade is feedback on my current strategy, not reflection of my worth as a person. What can I adjust next time?
Wow, actually, that is a massive distinction. Kasi sometimes ako, partner jam, parang I feel like when I fail into a specific project, parang it's a sense of giving up talaga, di ba? Parang, how could I fail when I studied so hard? So like, separating your performance from your self-worth is a total game changer. Diba? Nowadays, you really know your worth even if you fail, and that's really a game changer. It turns your setbacks into a learning opportunity.
Now, let's look outward. Emotional intelligence isn't just about us, it's also about how we interact with the world around us. Mr. Clint and Turla, let's talk about interpersonal EQ. How do empathy and communication help us to survive group projects, friendships, and school life?
I think the heart of interpersonal EQ is active empathy. In school, we are constantly forced to work with people who have different personalities, work ethics, and backgrounds. When someone in your group project is lagging behind, the low EQ response is to immediately complain and gossip about them. The high EQ response is to check in in on them first. Hey, I notice haven't been active in group chat lately. Is everything okay? Or there is a part of the project you are struggling with. Empathy doesn't mean letting people walk over you, but it means seeking to understand before seeking to be understood.
That's spot on. And we need strength with the assertive communication and conflict resolution.
Okay, so parang sinasabi nila partner siya na instead of saying, you never do your work and sinisira mo yung grade mo, ang statement pala na gagamitin natin is, I feel overwhelmed when our group deadlines aren't met, when you aren't submitting, di ba? Tama ba ako, mga estudyante? And listening to you guys just really make these points, make like my communication skills are getting an upgrade. It takes so much maturity to pause, breathe, and choose an empathetic response instead of reacting impulsively. Kasi di ba ako, I tend before to react na parang galit ka agad when they aren't replying, di ba? Ganyan. So this has been an incredibly rich discussion. Let's take a step back and look at how these two pillars, financial capability and emotional intelligence, actually work hand in hand.
Exactly. They are not isolated skills. Think about it. If you have an high EQ, you can resist the emotional urge to impulse by when you are stressed. If you have an financial capability, you can reduce your financial stress, which is directly improves your mental and emotional well-being.
So like, 'di ba, they feed into each other beautifully. So may mga way pala talaga how to handle this kind of things. Before we wrap up, guys, let's do a quick round robin with all of you. So gusto namin na parang enjoyable naman yung podcast. So we want to give each one of you a bite size or takeaway bago tayo mag-end on either the money or the emotions for our listeners, of course. Let's start with you, Abby, of course, and go down the line.
Siyempre, track your expenses. Even the smallest add-up. Siyempre, di ba, hindi naman tayo anak ni Henry C. So, it is important to set boundaries with our friends. Kasi real friends understand situation. So, you can set na, parang, I can't afford the hangout this week. Can we do something cheaper instead? That way, siyempre, di ba, yung allowance mo, nasa-set mo lang siya sa kung ano yung kaya mo. Hindi mo napipilit yung pagiging Henry C boy. Yun lang.
Automate your savings. If you don't see it in your main account, don't spend it. Invest in your skill first. The best return on investment when you are young is your own education and abilities.
Normalize checking in your own mental state. Give yourself permission to feel your emotions without judgment.
Failure is just data. It tells you what didn't work so you can make a better choice next time.
Listen twice as much as you speak. You will understand people so much better that way.
Protect your peace. Whether it's online or offline, don't let temporary situation steal your emotional stability.
Okay, that is an amazing masterclass wisdom from our amazing EC panel. So I hope everyone that is watching in our podcast right now is guys, madami sana kayo na take notes from this amazing people or students. So remember guys, financial capability actually gives you the freedom to make choices. And emotional intelligence gives you the wisdom to make the right choices. Master both. And you can handle anything life throws at you. Diba, Host Jam?
We want to say a massive thank you to our 8 stellar guests for sharing their heart and minds us today. You guys are worth absolutely phenomenal.
So, ayan na nga. So, parang the whole point of our podcast is actually to stay smart, 'di ba? So, to all our listeners, thank you for turning it to the Easy Podcast. Share this episode with a friend who needs a little boost to their budget or their mental health today. Ako feeling ko send ko to kay Host Jam kasi very magastos. Oo, tama. So, thank you very much students and thank you watchers.
I'm host Jam,
I am host Aye.
signing off and stay financially smart, stay emotionally strong, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye everyone!
Bye!